History has witnessed the lives of countless great individuals. Some are remembered as brilliant commanders, others as remarkable scholars, and some for the unique contributions they made. Of course, history has also recorded many famous figures known for their cruelty and brutality. But the truth is this: history always remembers the good far more. Those people who, even centuries after their death, continue to serve as a guiding light for humanity. Their teachings are still studied, shared, and admired today. We will talk about one such person. We will take a closer look at his life together, because it is exactly these kinds of individuals who are remembered as the ones who changed the course of history. And one of them was Marcus Aurelius, a man whose remarkable life story became a moral lesson for all of humanity. In 121 AD, Rome was experiencing its golden age. The empire had expanded so far that the Romans called it oikumene, the known world. Yet the brightest star of this magnificent era of peace, the true heir of Rome, was still lying in his cradle. On Rome's Caelian Hill, in a villa adorned with marble columns, the first child of a noble family was born. His name was Marcus Annius Verus. His father was one of the most respected members of the Senate, and his mother was the daughter of one of the oldest families of Spain. No one knew that this child would one day change the course of Roman history. At the age of 3, he faced his first tragedy. He lost his father. His grandfather, Marcus Annius Verus, took on the responsibility of raising him. The grandfather was one of the most influential men in Rome, a 3-time consul and one of the emperor's closest advisors. He planned young Marcus's education as if preparing a future candidate for the throne. The best Greek language teachers, renowned masters of rhetoric, and the most knowledgeable mathematicians were gathered for him. But Marcus's heart was drawn elsewhere. He was fascinated by philosophy, spending hours reading, thinking, and asking questions. At the age of 12, fate placed Quintus Junius Rusticus in his path. Rusticus was no ordinary philosopher. He was the greatest living representative of the Stoic school at the time. One day, Rusticus handed Marcus the writings of Epictetus and said, "In these lines you will find what you're looking for. But reading is not enough. You must live every idea." Marcus spent the entire night reading the manuscripts. One idea, in particular, stayed with him. Do not worry about what you cannot control. Focus only on your own actions. It was around this time that Emperor Hadrian took notice of Marcus. Hadrian himself was an intellectual, poet, architect, and philosopher, and what he showed and taught left a profound impression on Marcus. At the age of 17, the young man chose Stoic simplicity over the palace's luxury. In 138 AD, on his deathbed, Hadrian made his final, and perhaps most important, decision. From that moment on, Marcus would eventually lead the empire, but not directly. First, Antoninus Pius would ascend the throne, and Marcus would become his adopted heir. When Marcus received the news, he couldn't sleep for days. What he wrote in his journal was striking. "Today, my destiny has changed, but I will not. Whether I become emperor or a beggar, my duty remains the same, to be a good person." Thus began a long period of preparation. Marcus served as a student and apprentice under Antoninus Pius. For 23 years, he learned every detail of running the empire. But what he truly learned was something deeper: how to combine power with virtue. By 161 AD, at the age of 40, he ascended the throne fully prepared. Yet he faced not only political challenges. The real test would lie within the nature of power itself. At that time, the Roman Empire spanned a territory unlike any before in history. Stretching from the cold climates of Britain to the scorching deserts of Africa, this vast empire united people who spoke 20 different languages, worshipped hundreds of gods, and preserved millennia-old traditions, all under a single rule. The first decision Marcus made upon ascending the throne was to declare his brother, Lucius Verus, co-emperor. This was unprecedented in Roman history. Everyone in the Senate was astonished by the decision. After all, how could power be shared in a system accustomed to absolute rule by a single individual? Yet Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Two minds are better than one. Two pairs of eyes see better." The empire is not a burden meant to rest on the shoulders of one person alone. He also made unprecedented changes within the palace. Traditionally, the imperial palace was a center of wealth. Golden-patterned walls, ivory beds, and marble pools dazzled the eyes. Yet Marcus's study was no different from the simple cell of a philosopher. One day, the chief physician Galen could no longer contain his curiosity and asked, "Why do you put yourself through so much hardship? Wouldn't a little comfort be better?" Marcus's answer reflected his entire philosophy of governance. An emperor living in luxury cannot be a true emperor for his people. This commitment to simplicity was also reflected in his administration of the state. He introduced revolutionary changes to Roman law. For the first time, slaves gained legal recognition. "A human is a human," Marcus said. "Whether free or enslaved, this truth does not change." He established schools for orphaned children and took strict measures against corruption in the provinces. Perhaps his most significant reform was the complete overhaul of the justice system. Marcus worked tirelessly to ensure justice prevailed, spending hours in court and listening carefully to even the smallest cases. On one occasion, a seemingly minor property dispute took a full 11 days to resolve. The senators began to grumble. "All this time for such a trivial matter?" Marcus's response still hangs on the walls of law schools today. The case of the smallest citizen of Rome is as important as the greatest war. Justice cannot be rushed. His use of the imperial treasury was also unprecedented in history. Previous emperors spent vast fortunes on palace entertainments, but Marcus allocated funds entirely differently. He established educational funds for children of poor families, sent aid to cities struck by plagues, and delivered grain to regions suffering from famine. The emperor's personal life was also exemplary for everyone. His marriage to Faustine commanded respect, even in Rome's gossip-filled society. They had 13 children, and each evening, after completing his imperial duties, he spent meaningful time with them. He paid particular attention to his youngest son, Commodus. Perhaps because of some troubling signs he observed in him, Marcus often reflected in his journal on a recurring thought. The empire is not a pleasure, but a responsibility. Every evening, he would ask himself, "How well have I fulfilled this responsibility? How many lives have I touched? What have I done to make the world a little better?" This approach was profoundly transforming Rome. For the first time, an emperor used power not merely for power itself, but for the good of the people. Marcus's work did not end with governance alone. During his reign, he faced numerous great trials. For example, in 165 AD, caravans arriving from the east brought the plague with them, spreading it throughout Rome. The situation became so dire that the streets were filled with countless corpses. According to palace protocol, the emperor and his family were expected to leave the city immediately. Even his advisors and his brother and co-emperor Lucius Verus suggested this. But Marcus was not easily swayed. He did not leave the city. Instead, he allocated funds from the treasury to bury those who had died from the plague. He also dedicated large sums to build new hospitals. For the first time in Roman history, an emperor shared so deeply in the suffering of his people. As if that were not enough, bad news began to arrive from every corner of the empire. The Parthians attacked from the east, while Germanic tribes poured in from the north. Marcus's brother and co-emperor, Lucius Verus, died of the plague during the campaign in the east. Amid all this chaos, the harshest blow came from within. Avidius Cassius, one of Marcus's most trusted generals, declared himself emperor in Syria. On top of that, he spread false news claiming that Marcus had died. In Roman history, such situations usually ended in one way: bloody civil war. Yet Marcus once again surprised everyone. He marched his army eastward, not to fight. He told his soldiers, "A Roman general swears to protect Romans, not to kill them." Cassius was killed by his own troops, while Marcus was still on the way. Marcus Aurelius was also one of the key figures of Stoic philosophy. At the heart of this philosophy lies a simple yet fundamental idea: the distinction between pleasure and true happiness, money, fame, status. These are external influences that bring only temporary gratification. True happiness, however, cannot be so fleeting. It is a state that arises from within. It comes neither from an empire nor from worldly privileges. The Stoics taught that the only path to happiness is to live a life of virtue. A person must cultivate themselves and strive toward the highest form of their potential. According to them, the only real failure, the only true suffering, and the only genuine regret is to fail to realize one's own potential. Because greatness is not a gift you are given, it is a duty. To grow and surpass oneself is inherent to your very nature. According to Marcus Aurelius, there will always be flawed, harmful, or simply incomprehensible people in the world. To expect that such individuals will never cross your path is like wishing for a rose without thorns, an impossible dream. He accepted this as an unchanging law of life. Your path will inevitably intersect with those who act with ill intent or behave wrongly. Nevertheless, Marcus placed mercy at the center of his approach. In his view, most people do not do harm intentionally. Whatever they do stems from ignorance or lack of understanding. You may wish to guide such people onto the right path, and sometimes you succeed. But often, your power will fall short. The universe occasionally sends us unjust, irresponsible, and unscrupulous individuals, a process we can neither stop nor fully control. And there are moments when you can neither change them nor redirect them. In such situations, the only course is to exercise patience and continue with calm perseverance. He wrote to himself, "O Mark, you have faults too. Who are you to judge? Perhaps your faults are only different from the faults of those you call bad. But Mark, you are flawed." In another conversation, on another day, perhaps you would be the ignorant one. Mark, maybe you should simply accept that you do not understand. He told himself, perhaps you cannot be entirely sure that what they do is wrong. A man who steals to feed his family is not acting wrongly. You simply do not understand it. And in life, you will often not understand. And you will not even know that you do not understand. So once again, do not judge. In the end, Marcus Aurelius believed that we are all born for one another. Again and again, he reminded himself that this is a law of nature. A tree bears fruit for animals to eat. Animals die so that worms may feed. Just as everything in the natural world serves one another, we humans are meant to help each other. And yet, this is our duty. The only real failure in life is to refuse this responsibility. Therefore, Mark, you must fulfill this duty, and do so in the very best way possible. It is no coincidence that Marcus Aurelius spent much of his time thinking about death. but his thoughts on this subject were simple. Death will come, whether you want it to or not. He reminded himself over and over again, "This is not under your control. Therefore, do not waste your time thinking about death. Do not waste your life by fearing it." Just as nature commands us to be good, to help one another, and to fulfill our potential, it also commands us to die. Death, too, is a duty. So while you're here, live, be kind, do good, fulfill the role nature has given you, and then die. Because death is also a part of that role. Marcus Aurelius was emperor for a full 19 years, but during all those years, he chose only the path of virtue. History has proven that only just emperors are remembered longer and in a positive light. Today, the world knows him less as an emperor and more as the author of Meditations. In reality, it was not a book at all, but a collection of personal journals, written for himself. He could never have imagined that one day these writings would be compiled, published, and spread across the world. This brief work of just 150 pages is living proof that Marcus strove to live as a true human being. And today, his Meditations circulates in countless languages and across libraries around the globe. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations has inspired countless notable figures throughout history. The book has been regarded as a guide, especially for those seeking leadership, wisdom, and self-awareness. It is noted that Nelson Mandela read Stoic writings, particularly those of Marcus, extensively during his years in prison. Stoic philosophy had a profound impact on him, helping him find composure and inner strength in the face of adversity. Former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt kept Marcus Aurelius's Meditations among his personal desktop books since his teenage years. Marcus Garvey, a leader of the global philosophical and political movement, frequently referred to Marcus Aurelius's teachings in his daily writings. Poet and essayist Matthew Arnold presented Marcus Aurelius's way of life and inner discipline as a model of an ideal leader. This list could go on and on. Marcus showed us a fundamental truth: power does not have to change you. In every situation, under any circumstance, you can remain a good person. If Marcus Aurelius were alive today, he would probably deliver this message to the world. People, whether 1,000 years ago or today, are influenced by the same passions, fears, anger, and desires. If you do not change yourself, nothing will change. The world may be difficult, but no challenge should stop you from preserving your character. The existence of wicked people must not make you wicked. Your duty is to be a good person.